Going into its third weekend, the Barbie movie is now less than $100 million away from, get this, hitting $1 billion at the box office. When Barbie attains this milestone, it will become the first billion-dollar film for Warner Brothers Discovery, which merged just last year. This global phenomenon has reignited cultural discussions about feminism and launched an iconic brand onto the big screen. When Barbie does join the billion-dollar club, Greta Gerwig will become the first solo female director to achieve that. Barbie's success comes at a time when studios and theaters have been struggling and rebounding from the pandemic. For a closer look at the Barbie mania, we're joined by Amy Shanler, Associate Professor of College of Communications at Boston University. Amy, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. You know, it's not just an American thing. It's people all over the world who watch this movie with an open mind. And if you don't know, there's a bit of a parody here. But in any case, there's a lot of themes inside the movie that it seems to me that it's almost global. How can this be?
Phil, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And I agree. This notion of feminism is, I think, what you're talking about, why the movie has resonated with audiences all over the world. And particularly in some countries, it's about nostalgia. It's about growing up with this cultural icon. And as you said, seeing it being brought to the big screen. In other countries, it's about seeing your inner thoughts and the feelings that you're having about the world reflected on the big screen in front of you. And in some cases, it's the first time that you're seeing these types of feminist themes on the big screen that you can then relate to and talk about and think about how can this possibly now empower me in other areas of my life.
But I mean, it's not the first time there's been movies about feminism. I mean, Disney has a ton of movies about exactly this topic, but I feel like this one was almost adult themed in a way that allowed children to, I guess, relate to it, but also adults. I may not be saying this right, but all I'm saying is that there's been many other movies made about feminism. Why this one in particular that has struck a chord?
I think it's, well, as you said, I agree with you. I think a lot of those Disney movies are made for children that also placate adults. I think this is the inverse. It's a movie made for adults that's also appropriate for children. And why has it resonated when other movies about feminism haven't? I think this playful, tongue-in-cheek approach that you have with Barbie somehow makes it more palatable, makes it more understood. It's a doll. It's perhaps a little less threatening to talk about feminism within the context of a doll than, let's say, a martyr or a previous movement leader who might be a little too scary, a little too harsh for people to digest.
Right. I mean, there's the themes are real, but I guess the characters are fake, and so maybe it's less intimidating when you think about the impact it has on your particular life. Let's talk about money for a bit, because we talked about the billion-dollar number, and it's not so much that they made $1 billion. I think this has been a surprise for a lot of people that it's been this successful at a time when movie chains, I'm sure, would welcome this sort of bounce back. Who's to benefit in the success of this particular movie? And I've already, by the way, heard they're supposed to make another sequel and another sequel, and of course they're going to plan more sequels because of the success.
Yeah, I think success begets success, and certainly there are a lot of different groups who are benefiting from the Barbie craze, from Barbie mania. Sure, the movie theaters themselves have gotten a big bump. It's questionable how long that will continue, given the, at least in Hollywood, the writer strike that might slow down some entertainment production. So it's a short blip, a short win for the movie theaters, which is, it's okay, we'll take a win when we can get it. Other, of course, manufacturers, products that have been licensing the Barbie name or who have just tweaked their product lines to have a sense of pink, a sense of Barbiness in them without necessarily putting Barbie on it. They've been winning from this. And even small businesses who have done pop-up shops or Barbie-themed promotions have really capitalized on this craze to make it almost a universal experience that people are having, from small businesses all the way up to major conglomerates.
When you think about, you know, Barbie, a lot of people oftentimes think about, oh, it's a U.S. thing, because that's, you know, if you go back in time, that's kind of where we first saw it. But what we don't realize is that people from all over the world know Barbie. They may not necessarily love Barbie, but they know about the Barbie, and I'm right now focusing on Asia. They've never made real strong inroads in terms of as a toy, right, from Mattel. But
Yes.
this movie seems to have created more buzz than any other toy or doll they ever, brought over from the U.S. or, to Asia. Why is that?
I think it's a little bit of social media helping this out. The Barbie craze on social media is incredible. You're seeing young people in the West who have embraced this movie, who are sharing their experiences, but also recreating Barbie-like experiences in their own world, spreading that over social media and creating this sense of excitement and enthusiasm. And I think young people in Asia don't want to miss out on these hot trends. They want to know what's on the minds of their contemporaries in other parts of the world. And then, as you mentioned earlier, Phil, the playfulness of a toy bringing forth these adult themes of feminism in a patriarchal society is almost like a secret club. Like, wow, here's a safe way for me to talk about this really important theme and to bring up this notion of feminism. It's empowering. And especially in the entertainment sphere in Asia, particularly in China, where things are a little bit more closely guarded, more controlled, this really sticks out, this, I think, in a good way, in empowering people, in sparking conversations and giving them a safe space within that safe context of Barbie to talk about these important themes.
Well, it's nice to talk about something outside of politics for once, and it seems to me this a lot of people are very happy about it. So I think you're giving it 5 stars. Professor Amy, have yourself a good weekend. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Phil. Thanks.